Okay. And anything about your memories that has felt maybe a bit unusual recently? Hold your eye open for me. Just right there. Excellent, excellent. We're going to move to your right. Hold your right eye open. And any shadows ever moved a little independently from what you would typically, and especially with your left hand here, any unexplained bruising, and the pencil is vanished. And the pencil reappears. Good evening. My name is Dr. Shirtless, and I am a senior researcher here with the SCP Foundation. You've recently been recovered following an anomalous incident. Before we determine your status, I need you to perform a standard intake assessment. Now, of course, there are no right or wrong answers. I'm simply just trying to determine whether you've experienced any cognito hazards, mimic contaminations, or anomalous side effects. If anything feels uncomfortable, let me know and we'll slow down. Of course, let's begin. Well, first, just please, if you can confirm your full name. Yes, perfect. And are you aware of today's date? Okay, perfect. And do you currently know where we are? Okay. And what was the last thing you remember before arriving here? Looks like my pencil broke. I'm just going to have to grab a pen here. Sorry, where were we? The last thing you remember before arriving here. Yes, perfect. Yeah. And how old are you? Okay. And anything about your memories that has felt maybe a bit unusual recently? And have you experienced any missing periods of time or not? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm just going to observe you for one moment. If you please just breathe normally for the time being. Very good. I'm just noting your posture, noting your eye movements, your breathing. And it seems there are no obvious abnormalities for the observation. Excellent. All right. Well, we will be moving on to the eye examination section. I'm just going to shine a light near your eyes, and I just need you to please follow the light. And just follow it. Follow it to the right and follow it to the. Now, if you could please up and down, up and down, to the left, to the right. That was up. Very good. And to the right. Down, 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 to the left, left, left. Good job. Good job. Now let's try something a little more complicated and going diagonal. And could you please tell me what letter I am making here by going diagonal, two diagonals, two diagonals? Very good. That is an X, an X. That is an X. Yes, excellent. One more. What letter is this? Circle, circle, circle. What letter? What letter? That is an O. Very good job. And you know what? What number is the circle? Maybe a little oval. That's correct. It is a 0. It is a 0. Just do me one favor. We are going to move on to some blinks now. Can you just please blink for me? Perfect. And blink on this side. Perfect. Blink on your left eye, right eye, left eye. Blink on your right eye and your left eye. Good. Back to the center. Back to the center. And just keep following the light, but please hold your eye open for me. Just right there. Excellent, excellent. We're going to move to your right. Hold your right eye open. Excellent, excellent. Doesn't look like there's any involuntary movements detected. No abnormalities so far. Now we'll move on to the memory section. The memory section. I am going to give you 5 words. 5 words. And I would like you to please remember these 5 words. Remember these 5 words. The first word is river, lantern, copper, mountain, and apple. River, lantern, copper, and apple. Mountain. Could you please repeat those back to me? Excellent. Excellent. And we will come back to these words. So, if you'd like to remember them, that would be a excellent idea. But we will now be moving on to a slightly different section. The cognitive questions. Could you please do me a favor? What is 2 plus 2? What is 2 plus 2? Good, good. It is 4. And what color is the sky? Good. It is blue. What sound does rain make? Yes. Good job. And if you found an unopened door in your own home that had never been there before, what would you do? Okay, okay. Hmm, very peculiar answer. Well, we'll move on to another question. If someone identical to you appeared in front of you, how would you determine which one was real? And please remember there are no wrong answers. No wrong answers. Okay, I may need to jot jot that answer down real quick. And a clock was ticking backwards. Would that concern you? Okay, okay. Well, we can move on to some anomaly questions now. Have you ever touched any objects that didn't exist? Okay. And have you ever heard voices that others couldn't hear? Okay. Any mirrors behave a little differently around you? Yes. Has time ever felt different around you? Maybe slower or faster recently? Okay. Yes, well, that can happen to some people. It can. It doesn't always happen, but it can. Have you ever entered any rooms that seemed on the larger side, especially on the inside, but not the outside? Yes, it is very interesting. Very interesting. Have you ever noticed impossible architecture? Any infinite staircases? Hmm. Let me just jot that answer down real quick. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Have you ever encountered anyone without a face? Okay. And has anyone ever forgotten you while speaking to you? Okay. And any shadows ever moved a little independently from what you would typically expect? Okay. Okay, well, it's going to conclude the questions for now. We will now be moving on to more of the physical examination. We will need to remove the gloves for this component. I'm going to need to check your hands. Please hold out your hands for me. Good. And can you turn them over, please? Yes. Have you ever had any unusual scars, especially on the right hand here? Okay, and any symbols appear recently on the hands? Okay, and especially with your left hand here, any unexplained bruising? Just checking your skin temperature here, checking your circulation. Everything seems to be normal. Very good. Everything seems to be normal with the skin temperature and circulation. Well, the eyesight seems okay. We're going to move on to the hearing section after the eyesight and the touch physical examination. Just going to have to check your hearing real quickly. Your hearing real quickly. Can you hear my voice if I just talk like this? Perfect. And if I just whisper really close, can you still hear my voice? Okay. Okay, very good. Very good. I'm very glad that you can hear my voice. Very glad. Looks like your hearing is exceptional and definitely no anomalies here. For this section, I'm going to need to just track your visual components. Your visual components, and we're going to need to see well you can recognize some objects. So I'm going to just show you a couple of objects, and I would like you to demonstrate that you understand what these objects are. For your first object, what is this? Please list the any attributes, color, what may be inside, what it may sound like, any key features. Yes, keep going. Very good job. Perfect. There. You are correct. This is a flashlight. Now I will never show you items that you have seen before. What is this? Please list any attributes that you may see. What does it do? Its purpose, its color, its function. Good job. Yeah, you are correct. These are scissors. Well, let's move on to a couple No more objects. Nothing out of the ordinary. Yes. Now just watch, please. What is this? That's correct. It is a pencil. It is a pencil. And the pencil is vanished. And the pencil reappears. Nothing unusual. Nothing out of the ordinary. But, of course, we can bring the pencil back. And it becomes a pen. Now I know I told you it was a pen, but could you please tell me the color of the pen? That is correct. This is a black pen. Now moving on to our next section. Please, when you first walked in, I gave you 5 words. 5 words. Could you please recall what these words were? Yes. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Yeah. Well, that's a good job. It's very difficult, that's for sure, but they were river, lantern, copper, mountain, and apple. Of course, one more time, they were river, lantern, mountain, copper, and apple. Apple, apple, apple. Well, looks like you have been doing very well so far, but we will move on to a couple more questions. I'm going to need to ask about your personality, who you are under the surface. Of course, my first question, would you describe yourself as a cautious person? Okay. And do you trust strangers? Interesting. Let me just note that down there. Do you believe everything has an explanation? Okay. And do you enjoy being alone? Okay. And what would you do if you discovered something that no one else believed existed? Okay. Well, I think I am ready to put you through some classifications based on today's assessment. It appears that you do not appear to exhibit immediate cognitohazard exposure. You have no visible parasitic anomalies and no signs of temporal instability. You have no significant reality distortion. Pending further observation, you will remain under temporary monitoring. Thank you so much for your cooperation today. Your results will be reviewed by Foundation personnel over the next several hours. You'll be escorted to temporary quarters where you'll receive food, water, and a period of supervised rest, of course. If you notice any unusual dreams, memory loss, voices, visual distortions, or impossible events, please notify Foundation staff immediately. Otherwise, welcome to the SCP Foundation. You did very well today. You may rest now.